There's no place you can go without finding worms. The ants were happy; they weren't going around going nuts. They behaved a little better. When ants go nuts, whenever you have a problem, the ants are the first ones to go, "Oh, okay, time to fix this. We got to do something, right?" That's what they do. I learned that from experience over and over again. When I go to people's property, without ever seeing them, right, without ever knowing them, I can see what's going on in harmonically wise on their property. If they're tone deaf, right, if they're tone deaf, nothing's going to happen. So a lot of times they have these Wi-Fi's, all the TV things, all kinds of things, and they live surrounded by high wires, right, high tension
Yeah,
wires.
yeah.
They have a law that says you're not allowed to have a school underneath high tension wires, right?
But they can build a house there, not a
You
problem.
can build a house, you can have a garden, whatever you want, and you still are going to be affected by these high tension wires
Yeah,
because it produces an anti-life frequency. It literally does. It shuts your body, your ability to deal with, and not just you, but the plants, the trees, everything else. It doesn't function the way it's supposed. In other words, it's not listening. It's not able to pick up the harmonics, right?
yeah.
When I learned a lot. I encountered it's called a Hieronymus device. Well, first of all, when I started doing this, I would give talks, and then people would come over to me and say, "I'm from Germany, and we have a radionics device." A radionics device, radionics. So that's the first
Okay.
thing I learned about harmony. So radionics it's exactly that. It's a device that harmonizes. So one of the things you do is you take a picture of yourself when you're healthy, put it in the radionics device, and if you're sick, it'll transmit the harmony that when you're healthy to your body. So you can do the same thing with a tree. When that tree was healthy, you put it in the radionics device, and it will transmit to the tree. So also one of the things that I've learned to do is the Hieronymus device imitates the way nature makes these frequencies. So I learned how nature makes the frequencies from a couple of different people. Rudolf Steiner was talking about how nature makes its frequencies. There
Yeah.
was the Hieronymus device, but the radionics device was in Germany, and it was used for healing, and it was illegal in the United States because it works. And also, he basically would put I ran into when I gave a talk one year, and I ran into this person named I still remember his name, Phil Callahan. So he wrote a whole bunches of books. One is called Tuning into Nature. So when you heard me talk about this, is where do you get all this information from? Because I wrote a book on it. I go, well, it's all out there. We don't have to invent it. We just have to be able to see it. So I get it from nature. I found out from experience. Everything I talk about is from experience, right? When I talk about
Right.
dimensions, I've gone through all dimensions. I can travel back and forth easily. No problemo. Scientists are going, well, maybe, they call it entrapment. Okay, they have a name, it's called entrapment, where you have one device in one part of the universe, another part of the universe that both harmonizing together, right?
Yeah.
Ever told you about the fork, the tuning fork? So you can have a
Yep.
tuning
Yep.
fork here and a tuning fork in another dimension. If they're trapped together, they're harmonized. There's no such thing as dimensions, time and space, and other. And your consciousness is the link to all these things. Your consciousness can connect to the consciousness of a tree, consciousness of an ant. If you acknowledge their consciousness, they will acknowledge your consciousness. That's the way it works. You see, if you don't, we don't acknowledge anybody's consciousness. We don't even acknowledge our own consciousness,
No, we
right?
don't acknowledge our body's consciousness, the
Right.
biology that builds it all. It's conscious.
So how
It's
can you be
running
taking
the show.
right? How can you be taking toxins in your body that harms your consciousness, right? Because I tell people, if I have a lot of friends that meditate and want to be holy, they say, but you really want to be holy, you have to stop with the alcohol, you have to stop with the tobacco, you have to stop with the toxins. I give a list of 100 things that you're doing to yourself that's killing your consciousness. That's what's going to die first. Your consciousness will go, and then your body will go. Well, I
Living
guess
in
we got to.
Malibu.
I guess we got to go now. Right. So I learned that ideally, what I would love to do is teach people. So what I used to do in the beginning, and I don't do it anymore because these people are really weird. I would get a crystal, and I would bury it in people's yard. I would get a crystal that I would train to harmonize and send the frequency out. I learned it's called Finhorn, Findhorn. You guys should look it up. It's really, really cool.